Hello and welcome to busybee.com. I'm Andy Lehman and I'm going to read the latest post on the blog, which is Zombies, Conspirators and Alien Networks, What Simon Pegg Taught Me About Successful Business, by me, Andy Lehman. Okay, I recently enjoyed an evening at the local cinema watching the magnificent The World's End starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. I love the films that these two make and I rarely go to the cinema, so the whole evening was a big event for me. Not only was I excited to be watching their new film, but the small converted church, which is our local cinema, also allows you to take beer in with you and has an old-fashioned style interval. Okay, so you no longer get a person wandering around with a tray of ice creams or sweets, but you can pop off and get another bag of M&Ms and a beer, which is nice. So my thoughts on the film. The World's End is excellent. It is a lot of fun, and seeing Frost doing some Jackie Chan style bar brawl kung fu with chairs is just brilliant. Pegg was excellent at playing the annoying ex-drug addict who has still to grow up. In fact, he was so good at playing the part, his character grated on me at times. If you go to the post on the side, you'll actually see that there is a trailer for the film, which you can watch if you've not seen the film. Okay. It was great to see and hear the usual suspects like Paddy Constantine, Bill Nighy and Martin Freeman popping up throughout the film. I once moved out of Martin Freeman's way so he could use the bin at the V Festival a few years ago. We are like brothers, you know. I cannot yet decide whether it was better than Shaun of the Dead, You've Got Red on You, or Hot Fuzz, Yarp. Sorry, but you cannot mention these films without quoting certain lines, which are the other two films written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, who also directed Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. These three films make up the Cornetto Trilogy. Name this because each film references one of the three different flavours of Cornetto, which is a popular ice cream, if you didn't know. Three different flavours of Hero. There is Strawberry, Shaun of the Dead, Original, Hot Fuzz, and now Mint, The World's End. After watching the film and catching a rerun of Hot Fuzz on ITV2 the following night, it got me thinking. Now I'm nearly 40, and when I look back over my life compared to Simon Pegg, I seem to have done very little. When you look at what Simon has done, it makes you wonder how he and other actors and musicians fit it all in. Now don't get me wrong, I don't believe people should compare themselves to others only to beat themselves up. Now maybe they have more hours in a day, or maybe they do not have family. But as far as I know, Simon is married with a daughter, and is subject to the same laws of space and time which govern us all, so I believe he is stuck to using the same 24 hours a day that we do. Not only has he made the three excellent fun Cornetto films, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz and The World's End, but he has appeared in many films and also has a big part in the latest Hollywood Star Trek remakes, and being a sci-fi nut, it is great to see Simon in these films too. I think Simon is one of the great British comedy actors, and I have been a huge fan of the shows Big Train, Hippies, and who can forget The Amazing Space, which starred his good friend Nick Frost, and was also directed by Edgar Wright. As an old school raver, I can identify with the music and lifestyle of Spaced. By the way, The World's End has a cracking soundtrack of early 90s tunes. I need to get a copy. After the success of the shows like Spaced, he crossed over into movies, as we know, with the excellent zombie flick Shaun of the Dead, The Winchester. He has also starred in other films such as Run Fat Boy Run, How to Lose Friends and Alien People, Burke and Hare, and another favourite of mine, Paul. Now I'm not going to do a full list of what he has worked on because it is staggering. There are so many films and TV shows he has appeared in that it could be a post on its own. To see a full list, we have incorporated his Wikipedia page. So what am I getting at? How can you have a career with so much in it? Well, the answer is simply focus on one project at a time. We bloggers, writers and internet marketers try and do so much. We learn new things and want to try them out usually before we've finished anything else. Myself included, I am probably one of the worst for it. When Simon Edgar created Shaun of the Dead, We're Coming to Get You Barbara, Hot Fuzz, I'll off Grasshopper, and The World's End, we're going to see this through to the bitter end or the lager end. Sorry, they were done in parts. They brainstormed the ideas, they wrote the story, they recorded the film, they did the publicity tour, they became legends and hopefully laughed all the way to the bank. It sounds obvious, but they cannot move on to the next project until the one they are working on is finished, and as you can see in the list, you cannot move on to the next stage of a project until one before is completed. Now, I'm not saying that while writing or filming they couldn't sit and brainstorm other ideas over a coffee or pop off and do a small TV appearance, but what I'm saying is that they would not try and write or film 3 films together unless they were like The Lord of the Rings, where they were essentially just filming the same longer film. No, they would start a project and complete it before even attempting to start another. You cannot start filming if there isn't a story, and you cannot write a story if you do not have an idea. It is a logical progression from start to finish. I'm currently writing a book, but will it get done? Probably not, because I'm trying to do too many different things. Even if I schedule an hour each week on it and trying to stick with it, it is difficult when your head is all over the place. I would lose most of the hour reading through what I did last week and trying to figure out where I was up to. I suspect that Simon would work the same when he's doing other films, such as the Star Trek films. He would be given a script and he would need to learn his lines, then go and do rehearsals before they did the final stage of filming. During that time he may read other scripts to see if he was interested in working on the new films in the future, or he may take a few hours off to write outlines for a new story, but I doubt he would try and learn lines for another film or focus on writing while trying to remember the lines for the film he was doing now. To do so would be confusing and could have him quoting all kinds of mixed up odd lines on set. Scotty, aye Captain, gee can he take it? 12 pints is enough to have any old pickle on his back, and dogs can look up. Captain Kirk. Eh? WTF? Simon Pegg and Nick Frost make the best films and are 2 of my favourite actors. You cannot beat the benefits of a good laugh, and they deliver. But they are also an inspiration to me because they, just like us, started somewhere where money wasn't as abundant and they needed to earn the bread and butter wage while trying to carve out a career. They did it by focusing their energies on 1 or 2 projects at a time and not spreading themselves out too thinly trying to do everything at once. You should do the same. If you want to create a series of video tutorials, focus on them until they are done, or you have mastered the art and you can knock them out easily. If you want to write great posts and guest posts, then focus on your writing until you've finished or until you have mastered writing. Do not do an article here and then another article there while doing podcasts, video tutorials, creating ebooks, etc. Otherwise you will produce a lot of nothing. 1 guest post might get some traffic, but 80 would get you a load. So whatever your project is, plan it well and stick with it until it is done. Think of the saying, less haste, more speed. Now think of a new version, less projects, more results. You know, I think I'm going to adopt that method more myself, but first I am popping out. Do you want anything from the shops? A cornetto perhaps? Andy's Sad Facts Corner. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this post up by boring you with an excellent fact about Hot Fuzz that keeps me awake at night, purely because I am sad. Judy Deacon, who starred in Hot Fuzz and appears briefly in Shaun of the Dead, The World's End, and starred in Spaced with Simon and Nick, was born here in my hometown of Gainsborough and went to school here. And it gets better. Jim Broadbent was born in Lincoln, which is just up the road from me. I know Lincoln well and I went to college there. What I want to know is this: did Judy Deacon and Jim Broadbent ever sit and have a coffee break during filming and talk about Lincoln and G-Town just as I would? Or were they not aware of each other's neighbouring ties? Yes, that does keep me awake and it is very sad, but it makes me feel like I am part of the Hot Fuzz family. Okay, so if you have any great business tips or sad but very interesting facts about local celebs, then please share them with us in the comments below. But now I must jog on and leave you. So that's today's post by me, Andy Lehman. And please visit busybee.com for more. We do excellent posts regularly. Zombies, Conspirators and Alien Networks. What Simon Pegg taught me about successful business was today's post. And as you'll see, we also have an excellent newsletter, so please sign up for that and get great advice, tips and on social media, blogging and WordPress and online business. And until the next vidcast, I shall see you then. Thank you.